Nicole Gothenberg and Ryan Bonin, please.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Guthenberg, and I'm one of the representatives of the class of 2023. My fellow class representative, Ryan Bonin, and I are here with our class advisor, Ms. Raposa, to obtain the committee's approval for our senior class trip to Disney in the year 2023. The graduating class trip to Disney is a tradition that has been deeply rooted in high school's history for the past 20 years, and is one of the extensive benefits that we hope you're all willing to allow us to continue with our class moving forward.
We feel there's a multitude of rewarding and beneficial aspects of this trip. It allows us to get a glimpse of what college life might be like as we'll be away from home, and sharing a room with 3 of our classmates, experiencing new responsibilities, and learning how to navigate with independence. In like manner, the trip also gives us an opportunity to share a memorable last experience with people we have gone to school with our entire lives, and form strong connections and friendships with.
We are aware that not all of our classmates will choose to go on this trip. However, some of us have never been to Disney World or even had the experience of flying on a plane. This trip will provide us with a magical experience to share with our friends and our teachers with whom we have developed such strong relationships with. By making this trip a school-sponsored event, we understand that the student handbook rules will apply at all times. This will serve as a reminder to combat senioritis, continue to work hard in our classes, and abide by the school rules. Of course, we all do this anyways, but allowing us to take this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity will give us the extra incentive to continue to work hard throughout graduation.
Furthermore, there are a plethora of educational benefits that a trip to Disney World would provide to the class of 2023 as well. For instance, in just 2 of the 4 parks, Magic Kingdom and Epcot, there are countless attractions such as the Hall of Presidents, Liberty Bell, Riverboat, Living with the Land, and the World Showcase that can teach and inform students on a variety of subjects such as American history, literature, sustainable farming practices, and world cultures. This is barely scratching the surface of the educational value a trip to Disney could supply. In fact, one Douglas High School graduate was so impressed by the animatronics that he saw in Disney that he went on to pursue a degree in electrical engineering and attend a master's program at Purdue University.
Additionally, Disney World has an extensive safety protocol that set the establishment apart from any theme park in our area, proving how it would be safer to attend a trip to Disney than any local establishment that has less stringent policies. Overall, Disney is an establishment that has spent large sums of money and time on resources to ensure the safety of its parkgoers.
Lastly, the junior and senior class advisors' costs will be covered by the students, and we will inform the students and parents that it will be included in the student price. We realize that the cost of the trip may be an issue for some students, but we have worked diligently for the past 2 years to fundraise for our class, and we plan to do so even more this year through events such as the Gillette fundraiser to help ease the cost of the trip for students. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be here tonight, and we hope you will consider approving this trip for us. If you have any questions, we will do our best to answer them.
We have Julie Mulder, who's the other school committee representative online joining us, just for everybody's awareness. She is here participating. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I fully support. I think it's a great opportunity for you all, especially given the past 2 years of what you guys have experienced, not the norm of being with your peers. So, we can make the motion to approve?
You want to just move the consent agenda
We can
item
move
up,
this
yeah.
consent agenda up. I'd be looking for a roll call vote, since we have Julie online, with each of us saying our thoughts on this. I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the class of 2023 class trip to Walt Disney World Orlando, Florida in April of 2023.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Becky. All those in favor, can you please signal by saying yea or nay? And each person, so Julie?
Aye. Becky Charniak, aye. Excuse me.
Lisa Brown, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. You're all set.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming
Awesome,
in.
Thank you for coming.
Next, we're going to go through, open it up for public comment and communications. Is anybody here for public comment? You have to come up to the table, please. State your name and your address for us, please.
My name is Matthew O'Neary. My address is 4 Witten Heights, Douglas, Mass. I'm here today, I'm just trying to, I signed my son up for preschool for next year, next September, and I guess you guys had a lot of applicants this year for a preschool for the daytime, 3 days a week. And I was told that there was an approval process to go through to add an afternoon class. That's why I'm here to see if that was approved or not in the town meeting.
So, your question to us is, was in the budget that was presented, was an additional preschool afternoon class added?
Correct.
And to the best of my knowledge,
Correct.
there has been no additional preschool.
Well, are we talking about bringing the preschool from a .5 to 1.0 and adding the afternoon? And that additional .5 to 1.0 was contingent on our budget being approved at town meeting?
It was.
And it was approved at town meeting
It was approved?
on Monday, correct?
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you so much, guys.
Any other questions or public comments? Seeing that there are none, we're gonna move on to old business. Is there any old business we need to discuss? Moving to new business, to the superintendent's report.
Sure, so there, a couple things that have been added since the agenda was printed. First thing I want to do is, tonight we have Lisa Brown and Becky Charniak at their last meeting. So I want to take a few minutes just thanking them for their years of service. Becky's been on the school committee for 4 years, has been a strong advocate for students, a strong supporter of teachers, has always tried to do what's best, has always tried to squeeze every single resource we can to make sure that kids have what they need. She asks great questions. She makes sure that she leaves no stone unturned. She always comes prepared to meetings. I'm looking forward to the fact that, Becky, you still have kids in the district and they're young enough that they're gonna be here for a few years. I'm gonna miss my text message that says, "Hey, Paul, you got a minute?" And typically, it's never a minute, but they're always great questions. And what I've appreciated about working with you, Becky, is you have information, you have the packets, you see what's happening in the schools, and you're never afraid to pick up the phone, call, ask a question. Let me understand this. Let me look at this angle. So I just want to thank you for your 4 years of service to students you support.
I can only take credit for 3.
You can only take credit for 3, okay.
But Lisa.
So, run with it. So we have 2 citations here, one from the House of Representatives. It says, "Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Rebecca Charniak in appreciation of your years of dedicated service as a member of the Douglas School Committee. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 4th day of May 2022 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Robin Mariano, the Speaker of the House, and offered by Joe McKenna, our state rep." We also have one from the Senate that says, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Rebecca Charniak in recognition of your years of service on the Douglas School Committee. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be only signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate, signed by Karen Spilka, President of the Senate, Clerk of the Senate Michael Hurley, and our State Senator Ryan Fatton." So congratulations and thank you, Becky, for everything you've done for us here. And Ms. Brown is ending her tenure here with us, and I think her tenure started before the school committee with a lot of work she did with our sports boosters and making sure that student athletes and students here in Douglas always had what they needed. Like Becky, Heather's always been a supporter of students, wanted to make sure that kids have what they need and teachers have the resources they need. Like Becky led us through the pandemic, I think, Lisa, you've lifted and moved mountains of the work the past few years. Behind the scenes, 3 years in negotiations to get this teacher's contract done. Easily close to 100 meetings with pre-meetings, regular meetings, and post-meetings. You were a strong member of the committee when we We're working the summer of 2020 to get kids back in school and working on that MOU to make sure we could get back in school in a hybrid model. You then were a strong member of negotiations as we work to transition kids back to school earlier than what the state wanted us to do. I don't think people understand the work that you did in there. As the school committee chair last year, great support to me my first year. And when you spoke, it was always with calm, it was always with resolve, it was always thoughtful, and I appreciated that. And I think as we look at a lot of our negotiations, and we look at a lot of the work we did, a lot of your comments, a lot of your insight is what really helped us move forward and pass that hump on a couple of different occasions. So I know your kids have now graduated. I know you have some good news. You're moving on to some great new things in the future, which is exciting. So I know you said it's bittersweet that you're ending your time here, but I'm envious of you moving down to the Cape and starting new traditions and a new future there. So like with Becky, we have 2 recognitions. One again from the House of Representatives stating the same exact thing in your appreciation and dedication of your years of service to the Douglas School Committee, signed by Robert Mariano, the Speaker of the House, and Joe McKenna, our State Representative, and also here from the State Senate in recognition of your years of service, signed by Karen Spilka, Michael Hurley, and Ryan Fabian. So Lisa, again, thank you for everything you've done for probably close to a dozen years. So thank you so much. I'll turn it over to the committee if anyone has or would like to add anything.
Julie, do you want to add anything? We'll start with you first.
Just thank you for everything that you guys said. You're a huge asset to this town. And I thank you. I can't really say anything beyond what Paul said.
Monique?
I'd just like to thank both of you too for your expertise and, you know, working through all the hard work that you both have done over your time here. And, you know, Becky for reaching out, and this is my first year, and, you know, she saw in me, you know, a desire to help education as well. So thank you for that as well, and for being mentors to me. So thanks.
I'll just say from the bottom of my heart, it has been a privilege to work with both of you. You both are different aspects on what is important, and I've learned so much from both of you. Sounding boards, like, do you have a minute? Because it is a lot. I mean, I came on when we hired the superintendent search, which was huge. It was a huge win for the district, for us just getting Dr. Vera, and then we went into COVID. And just the amount of work that you two have done and helped, mentored me this past year. This is my second year. Next year will be my third year. But the growth that I've had, and it's because I've had you two by my side going, do this, do that. I truly, truly appreciate it. I can't say enough. And it's the entire teamwork and collaboration, I think, between all of us, because we all have different perspectives. We all work really, really well together, which I think is unique for school committees, because we all have different perspectives, and we're all able to still collaborate and get to the biggest thing, the win for the kids, and for the district, and for the teachers, and the administration, and everybody that works within the district. We want the best of the best for everybody, and I thank you both from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done for this district. Thank you. So I'll turn it over to you.
I'll go first. This is definitely bittersweet since my family is leaving town after 20 years. But can't leave without saying, despite being the per pupil spending the lowest, almost the lowest for the last 20 years repeatedly, my kids got the best education. I would put it up. They were both my boys were extremely well prepared for college, and they're both done with college now, and with very little money. And it was because of the teachers that are here, the administration that is here, and the townspeople that are here that would come in and dig the kids out year after year. It wasn't easy. It wasn't always fun, but if I had to do it all again 20 years ago when we picked our house, I would come back to Douglas and do it all over again. Not that I would want to do that, but I would definitely do it again. And thank you to these ladies that are up here, and Julie, and the prior board, and for all your hard work. And you made a difficult few years a little easier. And none of us were expecting the last few years. So I'm hoping that the next few, with COVID kind of I don't want to say under control, but everything will be able to move forward the way it should have been a few years ago when we were starting to turn a corner. Dr. Vieira, I'm glad you're here. I can't wait to see what happens in the next few years. And Courtney, thank you so much for everything you've done since I've been here on the board and prior, with answering all the booster questions and working with us to keep the kids in sports and music going and everything else that we were able to do over the years. And Lauren in the office, who has kept all of us informed for ever since we've been here. So that's pretty much about it. You can take over and don't make us cry.
So I'll try to be brief. You know, I got into this because I had a public school education, and even today, I still hear people say, like, not because of Douglas, but, well, private school is where it's at, and you should send your kid to private school. And it's just sort of this idea that public schools can't hack it. And I hate that, because this really, to me, is a critical part of democracy. Like, every child, every single child deserves a free, quality education. It's like the great equalizer amongst all of us. And I wanted to do what I could to support that here. It has definitely been a challenging couple of years. I've appreciated the opportunity to do it. I really have learned so much about how a district operates, and I sort of encourage people to try to find out more about that, the amount of work that our staff, that our principals, that our admin, that our teachers, our superintendent, our business operations manager, the amount of lift that there is in any district, but especially with the district with the kind of budget of Douglas, is tremendously hard. And they do it so gracefully and with such a good spirit. And, you know, if you have anything in you in any area to be able to help with that lift, I encourage you to do it. Yeah, I'm grateful to all of the board members here and Kelly and Brett, who I came on with at the beginning. You know, your passion stands out. You don't stick around for this if you don't have a heart in it. And I know that and I say this with, you know, with Dr. Vieira, with the board, I know that we don't always agree with what the best choice is for students, but I always know that we are attempting the best choice for students. So I really appreciate that, because to Heather's point, like, we do come at it from different angles, and it makes me have faith in the district and where the district is going, that I think that everybody who has their hands in it really cares about our students. Yeah, there's this sick part of me that's gonna miss it a little bit, I think. But I'm always here if you want, you know, 2 cents or 20 cents. And I just, you know, I want to thank everybody, because I also chose to live in Douglas. I'm not from here originally. I've moved here about 12 years ago. And there's an appeal to it to me as this small town charm. That's sort of what I grew up with, and our relationships are what carry us through. And I see that here. It's a little bit of the underdog, but there's so much commitment and intelligence and drive. And I see that from the top to the bottom. And I just am proud to be from here. And I hope that we can all continue to put our students first, because they just deserve the best. We have the best kids. That's hands down been the highlight of this position, is seeing kids come in here and want to expand Best Buddies program, and like the poise of the GSA students and the poise of the 5th graders reading about their partnership with 1st graders. We have the best kids here, and they deserve the best. So, you know, I appreciate all that you do for them, and hope to continue to be a support in some other way going forward, because I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe the Cape when they graduate, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We'll all be heading down, yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to say something too before you head on. So I want to thank you both as well, from the bottom of my heart. And actually, you can even ask the staff in my office. I say many times, and I have, over the past, especially the past several committees that we've had. And we've had a few people going on and off, but, and it actually totals a number of you, that we are so lucky that we have a really good school committee, because I've worked in a number of places. I've seen a lot of, just a whole different discourse, let's put it that way. And I think one of you said it earlier too, that sometimes you might not always completely agree, but it's always a wonderful discourse. It's always with respect. It's always with the best interests of the students at heart. It is, no matter what point of view you're coming from or what angle you're coming from, you know, and I really, really appreciate that. And I know all the hard work that you guys have done, especially the past 3 years, I'd say especially. Not that even before, although the year with the athletics too, that was a tough one. That was a tough one, raising all that money. I don't even know how you guys did it. It was phenomenal, phenomenal. But I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope, you know, going forward, we'll, you know, hopefully have the same thing, and because, you know, great work gets done. When you put a whole bunch of really good heads together and work together really well with the best interests of the students, and then the only way you can go is onward and upward under those circumstances. And I really do appreciate it, because I've seen, you know, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have even flipped channels and seen other places too, where you can't even keep on that channel for long, because it's just battle, and then everybody loses. And I so appreciate your candor, your knowledge, your respect, your acknowledgement of what it takes to run a school district, and the assistance that you've given, and the support that you've given us as well. So I really, really thank you. And I hope this isn't the last we'll see of you guys. I mean, even with you moving to the Cape, you can always come back and visit. We might come and visit you. But thank you.
So again, thank you. A couple other things. Last week, we held interviews in the first round for our Director of Special Education Student Support Services. We had 12 people apply for the job. The initial committee interviewed 6, and they forwarded 3 names to me. 3 names I sent out to the community, I believe, on Monday with their brief bios. Just want to inform the committee of where we are and what the next steps are. So I've done 1 interview yesterday with one of the finalists, and I have the other 2 finalists coming in tomorrow for an interview. So I'll spend about an hour and a half with them. I've started the process of doing reference checks on the candidates. Next week, on Tuesday, the candidates will be meeting with teachers for a half hour and doing an intro, and then fielding question and answers from staff. I'll get some feedback from staff. And then on Wednesday, I'm doing the final round of interviews with the 3 candidates. I've asked them, based off of the initial interview, their research, their meeting with staff, and their meeting with me, to put together a short-term and a long-term entry plan for me, just so I can kind of see what they're thinking, what they're doing, have the opportunity to ask them questions. And then my goal is to be able to bring the finalists before the school committee on May 18th. That will then allow me a week or so after that to finalize a contract and give the incoming Director of Special Education and Ms. Sobolewski about 5 weeks to transition and get them caught up so they can hit the ground running on July 1. So that's the goal as of now. I'm pleased with the candidates that we've had. They each have extensive experience. They've each been team chairs, classroom teachers, and have central office experience as a special education director. So looking forward to meeting the other 2 finalists tomorrow.
Can I ask, are these permanent roles, or are these interim?
This would be permanent.
Okay.
So I looked, so I know I mentioned that I was thinking about doing the interim route. I reached out to a lot of people about the interim role, and no one was interested in a full year-long interim role. What a lot of them are interested in is a short-term, 2 or 3 month interim role, which I can understand why, but they're also interested in doing mentoring and coaching, and being able to come into a district and work with a new special education director for the course of the year, coming in 1 day a week, 2 days a week, and doing that. So I do have 2 people who might be interested in coaching. I didn't know who we were gonna get for finalists. The 3 finalists we have all have special education experience and have been in central office, so I don't think mentoring them will be needed, seeing how they've done the job for multiple years, but we weren't able to get a,
No, I like the idea of permanent.
I do too.
I think we were worried that we weren't gonna be able to find that, and I would like, to see us be able to reattempt establishing somebody here for the long term.
Correct, and that continuity. Correct.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I didn't know what I was gonna get for applicants, and whether or not they had experience, they didn't have experience, but the three people that we have as finalists all have been directors of student services, student support services, special education, so that was refreshing to see.
Yeah, I read through the bios and I thought that they were pretty strong, just based on, I wasn't part of the committee, search committee, but I felt that they were pretty, what the district needs to move ahead, so I look forward to seeing them come.
And then the last thing is, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. Last week, we had Administrative Assistant Appreciation Week. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. Next week is Nurse Appreciation Week. So I just want to come out and publicly thank everyone who works for the Douglas Public Schools and what they do. We didn't think anything would be more challenging than last year, and this year across the Commonwealth, and speaking to colleagues, and even speaking to people who want an education, this year coming back was much more challenging than last year. So our teachers, our paraprofessionals, everyone has done such a phenomenal job of working with kids, caring for kids, and helping us get our kids from point A to point B, regardless of what path that is. So I just wanted to come out and publicly thank our staff for everything that they've done, from teachers to paras to custodians to our nurses next week to our administrative assistants last week. So just wanted to thank them. And last on my agenda, if it's okay with the chair, our student reps were so excited to talk about the Disney trip that they do actually have a student representative report, but they were so excited to talk about the Disney trip that they just wanted to talk about the Disney trip when they came up. So if it's okay, we're gonna flip the student rep report and the Disney class trip. Is it okay if they come up and do their?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. Okay, so this is the student report. So a lot of things are going on at DHS this month. Prom was on April 14th. The seniors had a fun Disney trip over April vacation. And last Friday, Student Council hosted our first karaoke night. Megan Bradley was crowned as the karaoke champ among tough competition. Spring sports are in full swing with baseball, softball, and track teams competing. Last night, Colin Squire and Julia Skirko graduated from the Blackstone Valley Youth Leadership Academy. This week and next week, DHS students will be taking their advanced placement exams. Seniors are halfway through their final term of school tomorrow, with progress reports being posted tomorrow on iPass. Seniors have just 13 more days of classes before final exams start on May 24th. And the Robotics Club is running a cornhole tournament during lunch later this month. Upcoming DHS events, including DHS Majestic Monarch, or IMDHS competition on May 13th. This was formerly the Mr. DHS competition, but we have opened it up for more competition to see who has the most school spirit. The DHS Art Show is May 18th, and the Special Olympics will be held on May 26th. And that's it.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
And that's all I have for my report.
Moving on to the school committee and subcommittee report, accounts payable report.
It might be easier if I take this with Julie on Zoom. Is that okay, Julie?
Julie, is that okay? Becky's gonna take the reports and read them.
Probably easier to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so between Julie and myself, we signed warrant 41, school year 22, dated 4/7/22, totaling $340,845.28. Warrant 42, school year 22, dated 4/14/22, totaling $122,039.49. Nothing unusual that I saw.
Moving on to the consent agenda, we are going to go and look at the April 6th meeting minutes.
So I just had like more of a thought than a edit on the school committee meeting minutes. So I've noticed sort of over time, and I think that in this set of minutes too, sometimes it'll say all voted in favor, motion passed, or motion approved. I didn't actually speak up for the switching the team chair into a special education coordinator. So it doesn't matter to me whether it says abstain or not, but I just think as long as we have consistency, whether there's, whether it's number of yays, nays, abstains.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And the detail in it. So for these minutes, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm okay with accepting them as they are. But just going forward, I think it might be helpful to,
Do a consistent
That's a good
format.
point.
That's a very good
That's a good point. It actually should say 4 yay,
Yeah.
1 nay, or 1 abstain, it should be always delineated. No, that's an excellent point, thank you.
Heather,
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Can you ask about nays? I know we haven't historically done that, but just so people have that voice.
Brett used to, and then we kind of just like dropped it out because we almost never say no. We almost never say no, but I think it's a level of, there needs to be space for dissent at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
So what he used to say was like, all those in favor, any opposed, and then if there was nobody, he'd say seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Or, and then if somebody was opposed. I think it's worth adding in just to give people the comfort level to
absolutely.
say.
Especially now that because we were online, so we had to.
Right, we had to
Digitally.
do roll call vote, so then
So
you could
now we
really
don't
hear it.
usually.
Right, I think that's part of why it phased out
Yeah.
too.
Oh, that's a good point, yep, definitely. Make a note of it. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So I'll be looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the school committee meeting minutes for April 6, 2022.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by,
Second.
by Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed or nay? Meeting minutes are approved. We've already done the Douglas Class of 2023 Disney trip. On to the 2022-2023 preschool tuition. Ms. Sosha.
So first, I would like to thank Becky and Lisa on behalf of the administration and all your support throughout the years. It's just been pleasant, it's been nice, it's been comfortable to come to a school committee meeting, and all your questions help us to improve and move forward, so we thank you. So tonight, I'm looking for the school committee to approve the rates for the preschool tuition for the 22-23 school year. These rates would be the same rates that we currently have. We recently voted to increase those in March of 2021. So this is the first year we've had the new rates. Prior to that, it was 2017 that we had rates changed. So in the future, moving forward, what I'd like to do is to have this discussion earlier in the year before the preschool registration takes place, so that we can compare the rates with the area schools. And then if we are going to make a change, it would be before the contracts go out.
I agree.
Yep, definitely should be, yeah.
And I think everyone knows from the last presentation that we have a lot of preschool applications this year. We did vote to add that afternoon session for the 3-year-olds, so we're looking forward to that. And we did send out contracts already. And there's still a lot of movement going on, though, and that's typical right throughout the summer. So we're just looking for you to approve the rates for this year, which would remain the same. Any questions?
No, I think it's great. I think it's reasonable. And it makes sense to evaluate it before open house and
Oh,
information.
yeah, definitely.
So I'll be looking for a motion.
To approve the following rates for preschool tuition for the 2022-2023 school year. These rates are the same as the current school year. 5 full days, $6,600. 3 full days, $3,960. 2 full days, $2,640. 5 half days, $3,300. 3 half days, $2,420. 2 half days, $1,760. All preschool tuition fees are to be deposited in the preschool revolving fund to pay for preschool program expenditures.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by,
Second.
by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Wait for Julie for her eye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. School choice by grade level, I know we were asking for this to come back to us.
Sure. So on May 16th, school committee voted to approve that we continue with school choice. We spent some time, went back and looked at numbers and class sizes and have a report here. Just, you know, for people to understand who may not, I know the committee knows it, for those watching at home, school choice funds are operating budget. In some other districts, school choice funds are used for professional development, are used for extras. We need our school choice funding in order to fund our operating budget. Without that, we wouldn't be able to keep our doors open. It's a major funding source for our operating budget. One thing we try to do every year as we look at school choice numbers and class size is try to find that balance where we don't want to accept too many kids in order to spike our class sizes too high, but we also want to make sure that as price of things go up, we can make sure that we have the ability to add some additional school choice kids into the district, because if we don't, then in order to keep class sizes down, we then may have to, in subsequent years, do additional cuts because we don't have the school choice fund money to fund the budget. So it's this real delicate balancing act that needs to be done. Over the past 5 years, we've averaged about 120 students in school choice. We've been as low as 110, as high as 135. Since March, I think I've had about a half dozen new school choice applicants since we voted on March 16th. Want to walk through the spreadsheet that the principals and Ms. Tibbetts helped put together, which kind of highlights where we are without school choice and where we would be if every school choice seat was approved. So we'll start at the primary school. Our current class sizes in kindergarten and in first grade are 16.2 kids in K and 20 students in first grade. That's without school choice. Mrs. Sosha is recommending 3 additional seats in K and 4 additional seats in grade 1, which would bring class size in kindergarten from 16.2 to 7, and in first grade from 20 to 21. So again, just adding one additional student per class. When you look at our elementary school, our class sizes in grade 2 are 17.5, in grade 3 it's 25.2, in grade 4 it's 21.75, and in grade 5 it's 20.25. Mr. Bell in grade 2 is recommending up to 10 students, which would bring our average class size to 20. We like to keep those K numbers and those 1-2 numbers in those formative years low. He's recommending 0 students in grade 3 because we're at 25. And then in grades 4, 5 additional students, and in grade 5, 11 additional students, which bring the average class size in the 4th and 5th grade to 23. As we get to the middle school, kids get a little older, there's a little bit more independence. We have class size right now in the 6th grade of 26.7, which is high, in grade 7 at 23, and in grade 8 at 22.75. Mr. O'Brien's not recommended any additional students in grade 6. In grade 7, 2 additional students, and in grade 8, 9 additional students, which would bring the average class size if we filled all those slots at 25. And the high school's wonky. It always So what I asked Mr. Romano to do is, since every student has to take English, we used English as our baseline for class sizes. So currently in grades 9, 10, and 11, we have an average class size of 17 in ELA, and in grade 12, we have 15. He's recommending 20 students in grade 9, 20 students in grade 10, 25 in 11, and 35 in 12, which would bring, if we filled all those slots, to an average class size of 22. Like I said, we have 120 students currently in school choice. We've been as low in the past 4 or 5 years as 110, as high as 130. So we've seen a plus minus of about, from that 120, of about 10 students. So looking to see, A, if the school committee has questions, and hoping for a vote, so then we can get those letters out to families to say you've been accepted, so they know what their plans are for
I
future years.
have a question.
Sure.
Where do you see kids typically coming into the district, like for school choice? Are they coming the middle school, the high school? Okay.
It fluctuates from you, there's so many scenarios where you might have students who had a bad elementary school experience and want a fresh start in middle school, had a bad middle school experience, want a fresh start in high school, had a bad start in high school and are looking for a new experience in grade 10. You have some people who are living in communities who moved into a community for reason A and then started students in grade K or 1 here in Douglas and push them all the way through.
So you can't predict which of these spots will fill
Cannot.
mostly? Okay. So my concern, everything to me looks fine except for that middle school. And I know that we talked about that before. You know, if we were looking at current class sizes of 17, you know, then I think there could be room, but our class sizes are already going to be at least 22, and then some. I know how important school choice is to the funding of our district. I just struggle with adding more to that school right now. You know, I don't know, I know there was talk about getting another adjustment counselor there. That's not, you know, that's not here and now. So I don't know, I just struggle with squeezing more there, you know.
And to your point, there's no, you were gonna say something, Courtney, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing, I was just.
Okay. There's no way of knowing,
It's hard. but
there's no way
yeah.
of knowing what grade the students would come in at.
Right, if we close school choice to middle school, I mean, what kind of impact does that create? It's not budgeted, these school choice is not factored into the current budget, right?
That's correct. Oh, because I'm always prudently conservative even with what we have, because
Right.
they could move out,
Right.
you know, and things of that nature too, so.
So, I'm getting the sense that if we close all of middle school, that our budget will still be smooth going, as it has been determined to be, so.
I don't know that I would, I'm not
I
trying,
wouldn't call
I'm
it
not trying to be
smooth going.
facetious,
I
but,
think
yeah.
it's, you know, it's a balancing act is what Courtney does. I mean, a very tenacious
Yeah.
balancing act of figuring it out. I think if word gets out on the street about the high school and all the innovation that we're doing out there, especially within partnership with Nichols College, I think the high school would be a great target. I hear what you're saying about the middle school. I'm concerned at the elementary, primary, the high school, I think, carte blanche, go for it. I'm nervous, and I think we all sense, because we all have different target areas that we're going through. I worry about the building blocks of our kids 2 years post-COVID, and we're gonna potentially accept 3 more kids into kindergarten, 4 more kids into kindergarten, then we're in the elementary. So it's that balancing act, and I don't know that we have the crystal ball, the right way to look at it. I know the budget is a concern, because now that we've got it approved, we've got to go back through and figure out what we're gonna do. But I'm concerned with all the schools. The only one that I'm not concerned with is the high school. I think high school, carte blanche. So I still don't have an answer on this. So that's just my 2 cents is,
Well, I don't think, like, the middle school, 25, that's the highest of all the schools. That's the highest class size that we're looking to.
that's my kid's school.
Yeah, my
So I'm
kids
just
too.
saying,
That
so,
would be if that would be if every student applied. Would the
Right.
committee feel more comfortable? Because again, we know what we get for numbers. Would the committee feel more comfortable if, through a discussion now, we looked at primary, elementary, and middle, and looked at halving the numbers? So going from K from 3 to 2, in first grade from 4 to 2, in second grade from 10 to 5, in fourth grade from 5 to 3, in fifth grade from 11 to 6, keeping sixth grade at 0 and seventh grade going from
Can I
2.
just interrupt you at seventh grade? The numbers didn't make sense to me. 93 plus 2 is 95. A quarter of that is 23.75, not 25.25.
Okay,
So that's actually a little, that seventh grade number would be a little bit lower. Not significantly, but a little bit.
correct.
Because they're
23
all assuming
Yeah.
four sections.
Correct, 23.75. And then in the eighth grade, if we went from 9 to 5, again, I would be thrilled if we had an influx of 25 students, 30 students, which I know we're not going to see, but would the committee be more comfortable if at least we cut that in half, and that at least gave families who were looking to move into one of our 3 schools, or families who may have a middle school student and a high school student and wanting to move from another community here, that they have the ability to move both children or all 3 children into the school. My concern is if you shut down an entire building and you're a family that's looking to move from one community to another community, and you have a 3rd grader, a 7th grader, and a 12th grader, if you can't move all 3,
Right.
you may
Yeah,
not come.
I mean, I can understand that. I think my concern is just saying, hey, come to Douglas, like recruit, not that we do that, but just, kind of those case by cases, obviously you have to find room for them if that's,
If they move to the, correct.
Right.
What is there, do we decide on the, I know I've asked this before, do we decide on a cutoff date when it's going to be closed, or is
So
there
last
like a
year-
standard?
So what we did it's not last year, it was this year. What we did
Right.
this year is we closed school choice for K to 8, October 1, and 9 through 12, November 1.
Okay.
So after the school year started, and we looked at people moving into the district,
Right.
new enrollments, new numbers, we did, I think I presented in early September.
Yeah.
And what we did is we said, let's close school choice in early October, in first week of October.
Yeah.
For K to 8, and let's close school choice for high school kids November 1.
Do people typically enroll after the start of the school year for school choice?
Well, sometimes it's,
Once in a while? Okay. And then for people who move into town, who automatically, it doesn't count towards this.
Correct.
Does that, I know it can happen any time of the year, but does that typically happen usually over the course of the summer? Or new enrollments from moving in
You usually see,
typically?
if you think about, families don't like to move and pull kids out of school halfway
Right.
through the school year.
Right.
So you usually see the housing market take off in the spring.
Right.
So kids can finish out the school year in their home district, and then start the school year off in a new district.
So would it be possible for us to approve, like, what you suggested, sort of the half measure of all of this except for the high school, the full measure there, and then you could present to the school committee again if you actually meet those thresholds, and then they could, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so that maybe if there's any additional numbers over the course of the summer, halfway through the summer, about move-ins and that sort of thing. I mean, I know that happened to my daughter's grade. There were like 5 kids that moved into town one year. It's just, it's totally random. But then I think that's part of the fear too, is that you say yes to 2 more or whatever, and it seems like nothing, but 2 come and then 5 more move in, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know.
well, the middle school's already getting 4 more kids per class. According to this, the 9th grade looks smaller. So I'm thinking that when they were in 8th grade, they were kind of smaller.
We had 18 students get accepted to BVT. So we had more than 18 get accepted to BVT. 18 have officially accepted their invitations, and now BVT is in the process of extending out invitations to round 2 or tier 2 of students across the 13 communities.
And what about North Fork Aggie? How many kids do we have?
Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong,
we're at 10, I believe it's 10 right now,
10?
if I remember correctly.
That's a big number.
it's high.
So that's why your class size goes down.
So with the 6th grade coming in, that's about 4 more kids per class than their current class size, generally in that school. So that's about 16 kids.
So the current 6th grade is at 93.
Right.
and the upcoming sixth graders are at
106.
106.
I'm looking at the upcoming sixth grade.
Correct, they will be
Yeah.
106 next year, yeah.
So we've got that additional.
You mean like in the building, not
in
with
the
additional
building.
students,
Yeah, well,
in
I'm
the
thinking
building,
in
yeah.
terms of the adjustment counselor,
Yeah.
is responsible for all of these kids who have, and their needs.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was part of the discussion that we had last time.
Yeah.
If we had that additional person, staff member to share the load with that,
I've been working on some things internally with Mr. Romano and Mr. O'Brien to help provide some internal relief at the middle school in order to provide them with some additional resources for next year. So I can share that at a future meeting.
Yeah, I think that, for me, I think we need to have an adjustment counselor at the middle school. That's, I think we
1,000%.
all agree to it. It's just how do we fund it?
Right.
And so what's appropriate and how do we make it all happen, as well as meet the needs of everybody, but understanding that we rely heavily on school choice.
So this
And
is-
this is the balancing that we're
That's-
doing right
This
now.
is the double-edged sword, right? Like, this is revenue generating. We don't have revenue for an adjustment counselor. We get more kids in the building. We have more money to possibly fund something like an
Right.
adjustment counselor, but then there's a bigger load, like.
I mean,
It's a
I'm
vicious
fi-
Circle that we go
Yeah.
Right.
around
Yeah.
and around.
I mean, I think halving it is better than what's proposed here right now on this paper. I
How do
mean,
you feel about having it and then, like, coming to the table again late summer to see if there's any, like, if they actually get to, say, 8th grade, let's say we approve 5.
I'm not opposed to, looking at it as many
Again.
times as we need to make sure that we're proceeding carefully and thoughtfully for the students.
And also, the books will be closed then, so we'll have a better idea about year-end, carryover balances and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Possibly, I'm not saying, okay, no promises here, but gives us an opportunity possibly to look at the adjustment counselor or any of our other needs as well.
That was my number one priority.
And that's my number one priority. I'm just telling you right now, that's the number one priority that we've heard it.
Yeah.
So, that to me is, before anything else, that has to be funded.
Agreed.
The kiddos, so.
I'm just gonna throw it out there because this is my last chance to. That,
There's public speak every meeting.
yeah, but you guys won't
You're more than
respond to me
That's
then.
right, too.
Then you can ignore me. Anyway. No, I wonder if it's possible to look at something like an adjustment counselor for the middle school, but in a flex sort of position, because I know that there's need.
You need another's, yes.
Right. There's a need in every building right now. Like, these kids, I don't want to speak out of turn, but anecdotally at least, things have been very difficult for teachers. And everybody is run thin, and for kids, things have been really difficult for kids. So possibly, instead of just looking at it as like an adjustment counselor additional for the middle school, it could be like primarily that position, but also float position that can provide additional support throughout the other three buildings, because I'm sure that they,
And they do that now.
yeah.
They bounce back and forth. But whether they float or they stay in one building, we still need.
I know.
additional revenue.
The amount of money is the amount of money that
Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah.
cost. I'm just saying that perhaps you can get more bang for your buck if they deliver services across the district.
I think they're just gonna be overwhelmed. That's just.
They're just gonna be handling my kid.
No. All
right. So what do you think about doing the half thing for now and then revisiting later?
I mean, like I said,
Would you like to do half now, and then at the second meeting in June, I can give an update as to where we stand?
Yeah.
Numbers? Okay.
So do we want to go through and state, so when you do your move to approve, did you want to, so leave out as recommended, and just say recommended the following, and then you can just state your numbers that you would like,
You wanna do that?
go through?
Do you want me to do that?
huh?
Did you write down? the numbers?
Ceremonial.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Are you looking for a motion?
I move to approve the additional school choice seats for the 2022-2023 school year as follows. Kindergarten, 2 additional school choice seats. First grade, 2 additional school choice seats. Second grade, 5 additional school choice seats. Third grade, 0. Fourth grade, 3. Fifth grade, 6. Sixth grade, 0. Seventh grade, 1. Eighth grade, 5. Ninth grade, 20. 10th grade, 20. 11th grade, 25. 12th grade, 35. We have a really good high school, you guys. Stick around.
Yes. Motion made by Becky, seconded by?
Second.
Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Just aye.
It's good to go.
Next, we have a long list of job descriptions. We've presented a few job descriptions over the past month. This was a process that Mrs. Keegan and former Superintendent Maines started in writing job descriptions for a lot of our positions. COVID happened and we kind of had a 1.5 year hiatus. Courtney, about once a week, starting about a year ago, said, Paul, we gotta get moving on job descriptions. Paul, we gotta get moving on job descriptions. So we've started the process of pecking away at writing the job descriptions. So, I want to come out and publicly thank Courtney for doing it. You see the documents before you. They're long, they're expansive. We pulled from what Mr. Maines and Ms. Keegan and Mrs. Tibbetts started with 2 years ago, and then Courtney went and looked at some other resources and pulled that together. So I'm going to turn it over to Courtney in 1 minute. The other thing is, in the business office, we had one of Courtney's staff members resign about 3 months ago. So one thing Courtney did look at is how can we restructure that position? So I'm going to turn it over to Courtney. She'll talk a little bit about the restructuring of one of the positions in her office and a little bit about all the job descriptions that she has worked on with me over the past couple of months.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Yeah, it's been been a process with the job descriptions, but I had a good community I was pulling information from, so, anyway. So the business office, as you know, as well as the superintendent's office, provides district-wide support, business operations, personnel, and other central office functions, as well as support for the school committee. Currently, the business office has 2 staff positions. We have the assistant to the business and operations manager that essentially does payroll and some other things. And then, because I had lost a position, it's kind of a long story what happened in the past. I had lost a position, then part-time. It just kind of got all messed up. I just needed to get someone in there. It was very dire. And we hired a bookkeeper, okay, because it was just in there. There's really no bookkeeping that gets done in that position, to be honest with you. And also with the structure of the office, not only between my office and the superintendent's office, if anyone's out, whether it be Lauren or Stacy, who had it previously, or Ellen, we expect, I certainly expect, the office has to keep running for everybody. Got to keep everybody running. So we have a lot of cross-training, a lot of chipping in, a lot of helping out, and things of that nature. Particularly, and I know if I ask Paul, he'll know what the word is, payroll is
King.
So it's what Jean and I
That's what she
always say.
says.
Jean and I always say that, yep.
Yep.
And it's true, because everybody has to get paid. I mean, vendors, you can put it off a little bit, but, people you have to get paid. So we never know when somebody's going to be out or whatever. You have to have cross-training on payroll. Always, always, always. That's also been pretty much an issue in my office as well. We kind of expected it of the bookkeeping position, but it did become a problem because of the whole disparity between that position and the other 2 positions, yet everybody was kind of all doing a whole bunch of the same things, or cross-training and everything to keep the office running, both my office with business operations as well as the superintendent's office, if his assistant is out. So when Stacy left, I did definitely, it's something actually we talked about for quite a long time, but we didn't want to do it during that time, but when, the previous person that was there left, we found that's the perfect opportunity to make that change. So I did create a job description for the position if you are amenable to it. And basically, it's we have the current Ellen is the assistant to the business operations manager, primarily payroll. They have to have some the primary duties. And then I have the new position would be assistant to the business and operations manager, accounts payable. But as you can see by looking at the job description that I did include right after the agenda item summary, you know, it's a vast array of duties, you know, for both. One of the other things that I wanted to mention, that when we did prepare the budget, because we have been discussing this for quite some time, but didn't know how this was going to work out, I was lucky enough to get someone to kind of step in. Stacy had left on a Friday, and because I know another business manager that, I don't know, he likes me or something, I don't know, he said some comments he's made on this or whatever, and he actually called me up and said, hey, I got somebody for you, you know. So, and it worked out very well. Carol started on Monday, she's been keeping up with the accounts payable, but, you know, we're staying afloat, but we definitely need to get that position filled. Definitely need to get that position filled. So I didn't know if you had any questions about the duties in the office or anything else regarding that?
Do we know what the, I thought I read where there was gonna be like a salary adjustment?
Yes, and we did incorporate that in the budget. It wouldn't be as much as the current person that's in there, she's been there for a number of years, but we did come up with a figure that we thought we were hoping we would get somebody, because there was a huge disparity too. Because the other one was paid hourly, and it didn't make any sense. You had one person being paid hourly, they're both helping to cross-training, doing the same, and the other two positions were salary. That one was called a bookkeeper, there's no bookkeeping going on, it's much more, you know, because municipal finance type things, whether it be on the town side, school side, is not the same as the positions that are out in the private sector. But yeah, so it kind of created a little bit of a conundrum, you know, and there was always that fear, like if Ellen ever was out extending, you know, what would I do? And actually, I did the payroll, but I mean, but I wasn't doing my job either. But, you know, so this was a perfect opportunity to finally get that rectified, a whole bunch of things. And actually, Paul and I are looking at a number of things, and as we go further down the line, explain a few other things. We're looking at some slight position title changes, because some things just need to be recognized that the world has changed. And we'll get into that at I think June 1st, we're going to be bringing those forward. But kind of looking district-wide, this is an opportunity. As you know, we're really required to have job descriptions. We have been working on that, but I'm also trying to adjust some other things as well.
The job,
So-
the creation of the job, the nice thing about it is it was an opportunity when Stacy left for us to restructure that position a little bit, and then provide really that cross-training that's needed, and the ability for them to bounce off of each other. And it more clearly represents
What they're doing,
what they're doing.
what the role is,
The other thing that was
exactly.
just really, for lack of a better, awkward is you had two people on salary and one person hourly, and it
It
just,
created a
it just
lot of issues,
created-
it really did. And there was no logical reason for it whatsoever. It just ended up being that there was a situation in past years, I think Lisa probably recalls. And, you know, we just ended up, I just ended up, so that I wouldn't drown, ended up just having to do what I did at the time, you know.
You make do
And I'm
with what
lucky
you
that I
have.
got a good person, you know, that we had for those years. But it was a perfect opportunity to do it at this juncture.
Can I just ask if the amount is significant? I understand it was included in the
So
budget.
say if I recall, I believe I got it about $4,000 more
Okay.
than what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And it is in the budget.
Okay.
It is in the budget, yeah. Yeah. So, and when I mentioned about, I don't want anybody to get worried about my talking about titles about other things.
Yeah.
It's just, see how well I can read Monique?
Yeah, it's,
You get to know people, yeah. Oh, no, and well,
we'll get to that. Let's do step one
yeah, because
first.
I don't want to, yeah. So
Let's take
anyway,
care
let's
of-
just take care of that right now. Yeah, we'll take care of this one now if you, and we can move on to the other things.
Easy to like approve, but like. we
Oh,
also
no,
have
I don't
keep
want to
in
do that this
mind-
evening because I want to explain
Right.
as I go through, and there's a
even-
few other things too. We'll just start with this
You
one
know, like when
first.
we did this with the special ed coordinator too, like you have to be cognizant of the financials that this all means
Correct.
too.
Yeah,
So the first thing we're asking the committee to do is just, if you have any
This particular
questions
one.
around
Yeah.
the
Just that one
creation
right now.
of, or the update of the office, from bookkeeper to assistant to the business of operations manager accounts payable. So that would be the first step
Mm-hmm.
in this process, but it's all kind of under the job description umbrella.
that I have provided. I didn't know if I want to make sure that you don't have any more questions. You've had a chance to review the job description.
So
just
Are
that
we
one.
gonna, after this, are we gonna be going through each job description and
Ye-
approving the job
Yeah,
description?
I'd like to
or are we
do,
just
this time,
talking about the
Becky,
job?
I'd like to do them separately. There are a bunch of them, and also I had to make why don't we, yeah, because I gotta explain a couple little, tiny little things with the others, too.
Are we expecting any more job descriptions?
Oh, yeah, I've got a whole bunch more to do. It's
Never
gonna take me
had
some
Job
time.
descriptions in this district?
No, I've been
How
trying to get this done.
archaic is that?
I've been trying to get this done the entire time I've been here. I just, Kevin was the first one that actually understood how important it was, and then Paul, we didn't get it done. Then Paul came in, he definitely understood how important it was, and we are getting it done. And I did get examples from a really, really great, I always go to the AAA, the Metro, really good community, had a great template, and that's the one I've been going by. Of course, tailored to our positions, so.
Do we at least have most of them done after tonight?
I have, I think I'm going to be, well,
Can we
he's
not
really
have
worried
so
about
much
if I
reading?
can even
we
get it
spread
all
them out a
done.
little more?
We're probably looking at probably a dozen more job descriptions.
Okay,
So
so
I'm
not in one
trying-
meeting, right?
I'm trying to
Not in one
get-
meeting? How about like 3?
So I'm
Well,
gonna.
no, but,
At a
but along with, we're also going to be bringing forward the recommendations for the rates for the next year. And I want that to be done, those two things together. They really should be done together. And we'll be explaining that on June 1st. And was it 5 or 8 that I felt like I absolutely had to get done for June 1st? I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, I don't.
So can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
There's a lot of reading that comes out on a Monday night for us. If we could back it out and have it sent Thursday, you gotta help us, because
Okay.
it's a heavy lift. I know for me.
Oh, I totally agree.
So,
Oh, yeah.
if we're gonna get inundated, and it's important, and I know it's important, I think we need to go and make a change where everything is sent out. We understand things are gonna pop up, but everything needs to be sent out Thursday night. The agenda with all the attachments, as you know, and
Yeah.
if things are gonna change as we go through, because sending it out late Monday night gives us only one day really to look.
I know.
And so,
And I apologize, I was trying to
No,
do
I
because
know,
Lauren
I-
was,
I-
yeah.
we get it,
so
'cause
I
you need to
tried,
get to-
yeah.
It's not just this. I
Yeah.
think that that's just part of the routine that we've gotten into, is getting the packet very late. So if we can get and to Heather's point, like,
Yeah.
stuff will come up, and if it
Right.
gets added, fine, but then.
Do you have
a
time to
chance
actually
like,
look at
through
things,
it.
right?
and
Especially
so,
the weekend where, everybody's working and you have other obligations as well.
Are you more comfortable
know?
if,
Yeah.
it would be great if we could approve the position that Courtney talked about, so we could
oh,
advertise
I
it.
think we can get through these bundles, because did everybody, Julie?
I was able to do it during, like, my classes today, but there are classes when I'm actively
teaching?
doing stuff, yeah, and like,
Yeah.
so can be hard, and then like, duties, it's just,
I was-
this is a small novel.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. And I'm
it's a
trying to
heavy-
get something that's
And it's a heavy
been.
read, too.
Yeah,
And- Well, there's a
is.
story behind it, so like, to what you always say, Courtney, there's a story behind it. I get it, we understand, we're just asking for some assistance on our side, because it's a lot for us to try to get through, so.
No, and I totally agree, because I'm the one actually doing them, and I've been trying to get them done for going on 12 years now, and it's a lot.
I
We're
agree,
trying
it
to
has
get
to be
all at
done,
one time.
and we want to get it done before
Oh,
the
I
budget
know.
and
Want
everything.
11,
yeah.
So I
My eyes
set
are
the
not that
payroll.
good.
I wish it was easier.
I know, so.
And I'm sure it's a lot easier for you guys to take time over the weekend, I'm sure, to look at things instead of during the week, Yeah, definitely.
Are you comfortable going through them now? Would you like to table it for the
I think we should go through it now, if everybody's in agreement with that.
I didn't see anything,
Nothing was glaring to me when I reviewed it, but.
Okay.
Then I'll make a motion to approve an update from the current bookkeeper position in the business office to a new assistant to the business and operations manager, accounts payable position pursuant to the approved job description entitled Assistant to the Business and Operations Manager, Accounts Payable. This position will be a salary position as determined by the superintendent.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by?
Second?
Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Any abstains?
Hey, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. And did you have any questions about the job description itself?
I don't have a question, but I know that you can appreciate this. On number 6, and this is for several of the following ones, we're not looking for a strong person. We're looking for someone with strong, we need to get rid of that comma after strong.
Strong organizational problem solving.
Yeah.
Strong is qualifying the organizational skills, the problem-solving skills, interpersonal
Oh,
skills.
you know what?
So you're
We
not
shouldn't have a comma. We shouldn't have a comma. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Thank you,
And
thank you,
that's
thank you.
on like the
I will
next,
take out the
next
comma.
3 job descriptions, I'll
okay.
have that comma.
That's what happens when you're
I was
trying
like,
to do too
Courtney
many
won't mind
things.
if
Yep.
Good catch, good catch,
No, I'm
Becky.
glad you.
We do read.
Although, wait a minute, let's look at the last part and see how much we want them to lift.
You need to be able to feel the object. Or-
No, thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Becky.
because I am so, like, I get so
I know you do.
And I can
ridiculous
tell you
about
those
these
are the
things.
things that
Yeah.
get missed.
So thank you. Rather catch it now.
And you have to do it all.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on this particular one?
No, I thought it was well written, well describes what the actual job this person's supposed to be doing. So I do thank you there, Courtney, for taking the time to, it's unheard of that we don't have job descriptions. So, thank you.
And I hate to admit it, because I get so cuckoo over these things. I think, that I
Baby
must have
steps.
redone them 1,000 times because I look for the best of the best of the best out there, and I kept changing it. And we'll see why 2 that you approved the last time are back on here. It's because of a tiny little change, and I couldn't let it go. I just couldn't let it go. So anyway.
We have the right person creating these.
Oh, we do.
Oh.
She-
No.
It's-
Could've missed
There's a
anything.
such thing as being too much the other way.
for-
It really is, and it's a very
It's so
debilitating thing.
important, it's so important to have job descriptions, just so, one, you know when you're advertising for a job, what the qualifications are that you're looking
Yes.
for. So when you go out advertising, you apply, and they say, why didn't I get an interview for a job? You can say, well, if you look at the
Million ways.
qualifications that we're looking for, here's what we do. And then when you're interviewing for a job, you at least have a reference you can go back to say, what's your experience in doing A, what's your experience with B, what's your experience with C? And they're like, I haven't done, you have 15 things listed here, but I can't do 15 of the 16 you have listed. And they say, well, why didn't I get the job?
Right.
You have that reference, and then you can have those conversations with staff members about when you hire them, what do you expect me to do? You have that, I mean, and we
Yeah,
can
it
go on
helps
and on and
hold
on.
people accountable
It
too.
helps hold
You
people accountable.
don't do number 12 often.
So
It's
many.
in the
things.
expectations.
So many things. And then even having the classification of exempt, non-exempt, to put that right out there, right from the beginning. Also under qualifications, such alternatives to the above qualifications as superintendent might find appropriate. Sometimes you allow some flexibility. I even added, I went and changed them all, and that's hence the other 2 that you approved. Others, I had essential duties and responsibilities. There's a reason why I wanted that word essential there. So I had to change it on the other 2. And then under essential duties and responsibilities, the last one, other duties and special projects, as assigned by, so that this is not all-inclusive. And then I struggled a lot with the physical working conditions. I did see some different things that had some various, and there are reasons that that's in there as well, to,
I can say with beyond a shadow of a doubt, Courtney clearly put in close to 25,000 steps as she was doing this, going back and forth between her office and my office over a course of a week to try to get these done. She really did a heavy lift in doing them and writing them. Yeah.
I'm so happy we're getting them done. I'm so
Are these
thrilled.
gonna become like a historical thing, like where even if the job is no longer, is changed in some way, becomes something different in the future, we at least have this historically to say, this is what we have, well, this is how it was set up in the, before.
So it'll be.
And I actually created a binder. I know everybody wants anything Google and everything, but I do have
I didn't say I only
a
have one
formal
things in
binder
Google.
too, with all approved job descriptions, so we'll have that,
Yeah.
there as a starting point. This is where we were at this
And
point.
maybe like if
Yeah.
like a position goes away and we find that we need it again, like we have that there,
The
okay.
other thing is, when
Yeah.
you approve the meeting minutes and as part of the packet, it's there. So if the binder ever gets lost and we can't find it in cyberspace, because Courtney doesn't like cyberspace, at least we have the meeting minutes, when you approve them in a
Yep.
future week that we attach to.
Yep,
So on a
so we
few
really wanna-
on
yeah.
a few occasions when we were doing research, we went back to look at job descriptions that were written for new jobs that were created 3, 4, 5 years ago, and we pulled the meeting minutes to look to see what was discussed and what the actual job description was. So it'll be memorialized those 2 ways.
Okay.
Yep, in any new position that we would be proposing or anything, although I can't imagine we've pretty much, but you never know, we would have that with it. So that you would know when you're approving it exactly what that expectation, what the expectations were and everything.
If the committee doesn't have any more questions, I don't know if you want to vote on each of those individually, or if you want to move the entire list.
Well, I did a couple of things I
Okay,
wanted to.
go ahead, yep, go ahead, highlight some changes.
Always wants to rush me.
I'm not trying to rush, I'm sorry.
Is everybody all set with these? And I do appreciate, Becky, your find. Thank you. Was that one approved? Did we approve, at least that job description, that one?
The first one we did.
We did the first one of the business and operations manager.
Okay, we did say approved, okay, but it says approved job description. We didn't approve the job description yet.
I move that we approve the updated assistant to the business operations manager.
Oh, no, that's approving, that's okaying the position, but now we're gonna approve the job description itself. So we're just gonna approve the assistant to business and operations manager,
I
account
was
payable
gonna
job
say it,
description.
Courtney, it says job description at the end of the.
Oh, no, but it says approved job description though, but we haven't approved it yet. We just approved the position itself.
I move that we
Okay.
approve
Yeah.
the job description,
Yeah.
the updated job description for the assistant to the business and operations manager payroll.
Motion made by Becky, second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone not in favor? Anyone abstaining? All set.
Thanks, Heather.
So the next one's pretty simple. That's just creating a job description for the same, but for payroll. And we'll make the change to the commas, of course. Any question on that one? Okay.
Be looking for a motion?
I move to approve the assistant to the business and operations manager payroll job description.
Motion made by Becky,
Second?
second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one.
Anybody
oh,
opposed?
sorry.
Any nays?
I heard her say aye.
She said aye.
Okay.
Next one.
The next one, there is a change to the title. Currently, that position is called the administrative assistant to the superintendent. But because of a change that we'll be proposing for some other positions in the district, we, Paul had thought that this was and actually this is what a lot of the position in his office, and what it's called, the executive assistant to the superintendent.
What's the financial impact of changing this?
Nothing,
Okay.
nothing,
Just changing the title.
no.
So-
Yeah,
so-
I don't see, okay, so what we're thinking of doing is, I'm sorry, okay, I may as well just tell you now. It's not a big deal, because actually, it's no financial thing. And it actually really occurred to me big time when we were in the interviews that we were doing last week, and I've heard it 1,000 times in the past 12 years, is that all of the secretaries, the principal secretaries, they're all called secretaries. And that's really a very, for lack of a better word, a very passé term. Their duties are much more broad. They don't just answer it kind of seems like they just answer the phone or do whatever. So we were going to change those to administrative assistants, and that's why we were making this change. It's not going to have any financial impact. I just think that they would appreciate having that title change. And it's been brought up, to be honest with you, for almost the entire time I've been here, by various people who have been in those positions where it's deemed a secretarial position. So that's something that we were going to be forward when we do those job descriptions. Trying to do a lot of things at one time, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Looking for a motion?
Move to approve the executive assistant to the superintendent job description.
Motion made by Becky,
Second.
second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All set.
Okay, the next two, food service director and technology director, the only thing I did was add the word essential, and then just add some verbiage in that very last section under physical working conditions, to be consistent with the other ones, the other new ones I was proposing.
I move to approve the food service director position. Job description?
Motion made by Monique, seconded by?
Second?
Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Next.
Next one is the facilities manager position.
Technology director.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, sorry.
I move to approve the technology director job description.
Motion made by Monique,
Second?
second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained?
The next one is the facilities manager. It's the new one that we've just created as well. Didn't know if you had any questions on that one. This one I did look at a number of, not only from the community I got samples from, but I looked at many. I spent a lot of time on this one.
Any questions?
Anyone have any questions or make a motion?
There's just an extra period on number 9.
I
for
just crossed
essential-
it off.
Yes.
I saw that too. It jumped right off the page at me, but thank you in case I
I-
didn't see it.
I wouldn't bother, except that I assume you're gonna actually gonna post these at some point. and
Oh,
so
no.
we'll look-
Anything you see at
Tiny.
all, even that, but I did see it. I don't know, must have jumped off the page at me.
I move to approve the facilities manager job description.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by? Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone abstaining? Anyone no? Next one.
Okay, the next one is custodian, and we would have sworn that we had already brought this to you, because we did the cafeteria ones, the kitchen manager and the general helper. And for both of those unions, we did meet with them and agree to it and everything, and we could have sworn we had it on agenda, but we didn't. But this has been reviewed and approved by the union as well.
Anybody have any questions on this one? Be looking for a motion?
I move to approve the custodian job description.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by? Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Next one.
And the next one is the business and operations manager job description. Know if you had any questions on that one?
Anyone have any questions? Be looking for a motion?
I move to approve the business and operations manager job description.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by?
Second?
Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Next job description.
Okay, the next one is the superintendent of schools job description.
Bold words help. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry?
I said I like the bold.
Oh, yeah, I got that from, I thought that, yeah.
I move to approve the superintendent's of schools job description.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by?
Second?
Second by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? It's good to go.
Again, thank you to Courtney. Again, you can see how to do that from scratch and to pull from a lot of resources.
I
And to
commend.
make it all flow is a tremendous amount of work. But it's so important for us to have as a district.
I'm so happy.
I think it's on Monique's face when you're like, do you mean we've never, no, we
That's
haven't
what I
had
said
that."
12 years
Coming into the
ago.
21st century.
I commend you,
We're
Courtney,
getting
for taking the time and the effort to do this. I mean,
You don't
it's,
know how happy this makes me.
this to me is
How happy this makes
unfathomable
me.
that we don't have.
Courtney's happy, we're all happy.
No, this is,
So I thank
I'm
you.
so happy. This has been bothering me for so long.
So I thank
So
you for
happy.
bringing it to our attention, because I don't know how we've been running without a job description
Yeah.
for our folks.
You keep us on the up and up, Courtney.
Yes.
I just don't know why it took so long, but I'm so happy for the
you-
support
you're
of
doing it.
Paul.
I appreciate it.
Without Paul's support, I don't get it done, so.
All right, so the next thing is the superintendent's contract.
We're doing an executive session for that?
We're gonna go into executive session and we're gonna come back out from that. So we're gonna move to the next is the school business and operations report for Courtney. Any transfers or reclassifications we have?
Not this evening.
Thank you, Courtney. Any topics not anticipated? All right, so we're going to enter into executive session to discuss the superintendent's contract negotiation pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, subsection 2, to conduct a strategy session in preparation of contract negotiation with the non-union personnel, Dr. Vera. We will come back into open session once we are completed with our executive session to continue our meeting. I'd be looking for a motion from the committee to enter into executive session
At
8:26.
So moved.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by? Second by Lisa. All those in favor? Roll call vote, sorry, roll call vote.
Julie, roll,
Julie Mulder, aye.
Becky Charniak, aye.
Lisa Brown, aye.
Monique Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you, and we'll be back when we're done. Thank you. I think I just need this. That's all I need. Come.
Excuse me, Yep.
If you want to join us, Courtney.
Do you mind if I just run down and get back on the gate?
Yes,
are we recording, not recording?
Keep going if you'd like. I assumed I would just keep going and then when you guys come back.
You're in executive session. What?
I mean, are we supposed to be in there?
No, they told me, they call me back when it's time.
Oh, then I guess I can wait till.
Right.
Exactly true.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
This is actually pretty short.
This is
pretty short. Becky, compared
is
to
short.
Some recent ones.
This is short.
I've managed less than an hour before.
Yes, we had a few of those.
So we're coming back into open session at 8:43. We're going to discuss the superintendent's contract. We have negotiated with the superintendent to extend his time with us for an additional 2 years. So does anybody on the school committee want to make a public comment to the superintendent about the contract?
I'm tired, but I'll take a crack. I'll take a crack at it. I don't know. I just really appreciate all of your effort. I think that it was really scary going into COVID and having Mr. Maines retiring. That was a tough time. The prospect of doing interviews over Zoom was really difficult and challenging. And I just feel like we got really lucky with you. I feel like you're very determined and you want to grow. And I think Douglas needs that. And I know that especially these past couple of years between the contracts, especially the teachers' contract negotiations, COVID, it's been a lot. And on a personal note, you've been supportive of me. Like, this has been, I think all of us have had tough times. I know that I've had tough times. I haven't always been easy to handle too. And you've been supportive of me. So I think that, you know, the example that you can set with being determined to grow and to strive for better and to really push excellence is fantastic. So I'm glad that Douglas can benefit from your presence for longer.
And I agree with that. I think when we hired you, Tracy said it was unprecedented since we did it in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or however, and that it was all via, nobody got to meet you like personally. So I'm looking forward to, even though I'll be watching from afar with COVID kind of smushed out a little bit, so you actually get to do what you were hired to do, and hopefully it's gonna push Douglas forward, and I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for agreeing.
Yeah, you know, normally we would have been, you know, talking about a new contract next year, but, you know, when we heard that you actually would want to stay 2 more years beyond that, you know, like, to me, it was a no-brainer, and I was very happy to hear that. You know, a lot of us have personal stakes in the district as well, you know, as well as trying to, you know, bring some good things to every kid here. And, you know, when things don't go perfect, as nothing goes perfect, you know, you're level-headed, you're cool, calm, and collected, and you take a moment to be thoughtful about it and to, like you say, and I'm not going to get all the words, but I know pivot's one of them, right? What's your saying?
I don't want to say.
You know?
Adapt, adjust, pivot.
Yes, you know, and that's what it's all about, really. You know,
I don't want to say that ever again.
taking everything as a learning experience, because, you know, that's how we get better, is we learn from the past and we change and we, you know, develop new things. So I've enjoyed working with you during my time here, and I've learned from you, and I'm excited for the future under your leadership. So thank you for giving it your all.
Thank you for believing in me. I appreciate it and the support. Thank you.
Julie, do you have anything?
She logged off.
Okay, sweet. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that, but I didn't want to overstep.
Yeah.
I'm just incredibly thankful that we have you at our helm as our leader for the school and to move the district forward. The fact that you do want to stay after the chaos we've just all experienced speaks volumes to me. So, do we get everything right? No, but did we do it with the best interest at heart of our students and to move the district forward? Yes, I can say absolutely. Everybody here unequivocally has done the best that we could do for the students, as well as the administration and the teachers and anyone else who works in the district. So I do thank you. So I just believe we have to make a motion to vote on, no, we have to vote on the extension, correct? Courtney, help me make sure I do it right.
Yes, yeah, be the.
So I need a motion to extend Dr. Vera's superintendent contract for 2 years.
So moved.
Is it an additional 2 years or
An
current?
additional,
Yeah.
an additional
Additional
2
2
years.
years.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
No, that's helpful. So moved.
Mo-
Motion by Becky.
Motion by Becky.
Second.
Second by Lisa. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Becky Charniak, aye.
Lisa Brown, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And so we'll be sending this around for signatures this evening, ladies, before we adjourn for the evening. And so just a friendly reminder to get out and vote on next Tuesday. We have 2 vacant school committee member positions available. And then our next school committee meeting is on May 18th. I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Lisa, you want to do the honors?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the school committee meeting on Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 at 8:49.
Motion made by Lisa,
Second.
second by Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstain? Thank you, ladies.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, let's sign. It's just me that has to sign? Nobody else has to
That
sign?
one, this one we have to sign.